Hello everyone, this is George with the Paper Panda Crafts. I am back with a new video, and today's video is going to be a product comparison between the older version of the We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard and the newer version of the We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard. So if you'd like to see what the major differences are between the two, keep watching. Alright guys, so I took a trip to Joann's, we drove to Joann's because I had some coupons that were about to expire and I couldn't let them expire because that's just sacrilegious. So we took a trip to Joann's and I got some stuff, and one of the things that I picked up was this thing here. The new version of the We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard. So I had this one for, I don't know, a couple years. Nothing crazy, because this was the only one that I could find. This one, as far as I could tell from what I found on the internet, was released somewhere around 2013, 2014. So it's been out for a bit. What is that, like 6 years, 7 years, somewhere around there. Now, I really liked this. I thought it was a really cool idea. I mean, it is a cool idea to have multiple tools in one, so you don't have to keep dragging out different tools. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, this is a paper trimmer and a scoreboard all in one, and it unfolds to a full-size 12 by 12 scoreboard, with your inches here at the top and centimeters down here at the bottom. It does have two locks to kind of hold it open, so that way it's not going to close on itself. Now, even with the locks open, it still does have some places where it wants to dip and warp, so, but the locks do hold it open in place. Now, the way you use this, for those of y'all that don't know, is you have your bone folder here, so it does have a place to keep your bone folder so you don't lose it. Is you're going to take your paper and you're going to make sure that this is flapped closed, and you're going to butt it up against that flap, and you're just going to make your scores. Simple as that. Now, one of the problems that I run into is that sometimes when I'm holding my paper in place, I guess I'm holding it a little too hard, and it likes to slip underneath this thing, or it will go up above it, or do that. So it likes to pop up a little bit sometimes like this. It will slide under a little bit, and it never fails. I don't notice it until I'm almost done with my scores. So, therefore, all my scores are off. It always happens, like I will make one or two scores, and I don't even notice it. It gets pushed underneath, and I'm going to make the rest of them, and now they're all wrong because that slid underneath. So, that's one of the issues that I've had with this scoreboard. I've learned to work around it. I've learned to not press so hard, but every once in a while I forget, and it either slides underneath, or as I'm scoring and the paper tends to fold up a little bit, it moves, it will slide on top of it. So just be aware of that. Now, when you want to trim something, you flip this open, you put your paper where you want to cut, and you flip this closed, and you make your cut. Now, one thing I will say is that while you are scoring, this blade, this thing has to stay open. You cannot have this closed while you're scoring. So that means that this blade is here exposed. So I have many times while I'm scoring, I end up resting my arm on the blade, and I go and score, and I move my arm down this edge. It hasn't broken skin, but it doesn't feel too good. So be aware of this exposed blade. So what you can do is move it up to the top. I constantly forget to move it up to the top. So I guess I'm just a forgetful person. I don't know, but I make a trim. It ends up staying down here at the bottom. I fold it open, and that's where it stays. So that's just a problem that I run into. Now, some of the features of this are, other than the scoring and the trimming, and like I said, it does have a place to keep your bone folder, that way you don't lose it. It does have a place to keep an extra blade. Now, I have used this blade. This is dull, super dull, and this one is dull as well. Now, I cannot sharpen this blade. I've tried. I tried running it over some aluminum foil to maybe helpfully sharpen up the blade a little bit. Did not work very well. You cannot find replacement blades for this anymore because We Are Memory Keepers does not make this version of the scoreboard, trim and scoreboard, anymore. So they don't make these blades. If you do find them, I've seen some places where, like, if you search on, like, if you do a Google search, it'll come up with them. But then when you go click on it, it takes you to a thing that says, like, out of stock, or it just won't come up at all. So I don't know what the deal is. And there might be some place out there that sells, maybe they got their hands on a bunch of them and they still sell them. But what I found is that they're not going to sell them very cheap. So, but I have not been able to find replacement blades for this version of the trim and scoreboard. So when we were at Joann's, I went ahead and picked up the new version. So the new version, I will say, is a little bit more compact, but it's a little bit beefier, if that makes any sense. So it is a little bit more compact in the sense that it doesn't take up much room this way, because it doesn't have these little fins sticking out of the end. But it is a little bit thicker than the old version. So this is the side with the part that you butt your paper up against, and this is the side that doesn't have it. So this new version is a little bit thicker, and it does have the part to butt your paper up against on both sides. So that's one of the main differences that I noticed right away. So let's get this popped open. It still unfolds just the way the other one does. Now the locks on this one to keep it open, to me, are a little bit better. They're a little bit stronger, and you just push them forward and they lock into place. And these new locks are actually pretty good. This thing is not going, like, it is not bending or warping anywhere. Now this is still fairly new. I've only had it for about a week, give or take. So who knows, over time maybe it will start to bend, but as of right now, it's very sturdy. Now the way this one works is that it still has a place to keep your bone folder, and it's still the same blue bone folder, exact same, that comes with all their things. So when you want to make your scores, all you're going to do is you're going to have this thing flipped open. You're going to flip this over, comes out completely, and then you're going to pop it back in. And this gives you a very sturdy place to do your scoring, to butt your paper up against. And this is not going to slide underneath or go over it at all. So once you got it there, you can push nice and hard, keep everything nice and square, and make your scores. And then let's say you're done, You want to make your trims, flip this back over, and put your paper where you need it to be, and make your trim. And this little trim guide does lock into place when you close it, so you just see how it has a little, I don't know if you can hear it. So it does lock into place, so it stays nice and secure. And one cool thing is that I left this open out of force of habit, but you can have this closed while you're doing your scoring. So you just flip this over, and you can keep this closed. That way you do not have an exposed blade over here to rake your arm over. So you can keep this closed, you can keep the blade away from your skin, and you can make your scores without risk of cutting yourself. Also, down here at the bottom where your centimeters are, you have a nice big border to butt your paper up against. So if you want to, you can make your scores in centimeters down here without having to hold it in place the way you would on this one. On this one, if you want to use centimeters, you're just going to have to hold it in place and hope that it doesn't move. So that is one of the main differences. One of the other major differences that I saw was the color of the numbers of the measuring guide. These are very dark black on a white background or off-white, while these are gray on the off-white background. Now, not a huge problem, but this gray, especially on the smaller numbers, is kind of hard to see especially compared to this one. But whenever I'm making a score, I always have to like look and be like, okay, that's 3/4, and make my score. So with this one, I can clearly see everything because everything is nice and dark against this surface. So that is one of the things that I really liked about this. So I will say they made some definite improvements over the older model. While the older model is still really good, it was maybe not the best. So they made some definite improvements. This one, as far as I could tell, came out around 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. That's what I could find online as far as like a release date. It was at a craft expo and they were debuting it in 2018. So I'm assuming it came out probably later that year or the next year. So another major difference is the blade. So like I said, these blades on the older version, you're not going to be able to find them. At least I couldn't, and I searched high and low. I could not find replacement blades for this one. They are completely different though. This one has a blade in the middle, and it's just a little tiny blade sticking out, but the blade comes out of the middle of this little knob, while this one hangs over the edge of the cutting guide. So they are not interchangeable at all. This blade will not fit on this older version. So very different blade, but I will say this is a bigger blade that sticks out, and I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I feel like this one cuts a lot smoother. A lot more smooth. I probably didn't say that right. Either way, this one cuts gooder than this one. Even when this one was new, I feel like this one just cuts a lot better. Just what I noticed. Now it could be that this one is new and it's just a sharp blade right now, and it'll probably get dull over time, but I can find replacement blades for it. So yay, I can get more blades. So that's the important thing. When you're storing it, you can flip this back over, close this thing here, release your locks, and fold it up. And it's ready to go into a drawer or wherever you want to keep it. So that is it, guys. Those are the major differences that I could see between the older version of the We Are Memory Keepers trim and scoreboard and the newer version of the trim and scoreboard. So I will say that this is Paper Panda approved, whatever that's worth. And if you are looking to upgrade, or if you've never purchased one before, go ahead and go out and buy one. Wait till you get a coupon, go out and splurge and buy it for yourself. It's not super expensive. Most places have it for about $25, somewhere around there, but if you get a good 40% off, 50% off, even a 60% off coupon would be great. You can go pick one of these up, and it's a great tool to have. That way you're not dragging out multiple tools. So, and if you're looking to upgrade, go ahead and do it. Why not? I did. So, anyway, but that is it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like what you saw. Don't forget to leave me a comment. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Just hit subscribe and hit the bell notification. That'll let you know every time I upload a new video. So thank you all so much again for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.